What is going on, guys? A absolute shit show uh, in the privacy space, to the point where I'm like, I'm gonna fire up the old mic and talk about some stuff, some thoughts, some other things, and this is why I'm here. It's Friday. Unfortunately, wherever you are, hopefully it's fortunate. So, getting my notes. I'm doing some notes, no script, just notes, because there was something that came up, and ooh dog, it is a doozy. I don't know what I'm going to label this, but this is going to be like one of those, wait till information comes out, then come up with an opinion, and then read some articles, talk to some, experts, do your research to a certain degree. If you don't understand it, it's kind of hard to do research when you don't understand, the base principle of something. So, got to be careful of that. And a slight thought on why I hate the internet. Kind of. Well, yeah, pretty much why I hate the internet. So, about I don't know, more than a couple weeks ago, maybe a week ago, this website called Cybernews, which, just go to their site, man. It looks like it's an AI generated pile of shit. I really don't like sites like this. It's very flashy, very hyperbolic. October 3rd, that's when it was. Who owns your shiny new Pixel 9 phone? You can't say no to Google surveillance. This was updated on October 9th. Maybe they corrected it. People is without use. Okay. Cybernews researchers analyzed the new Pixel 9 Pro smartphone's web traffic, focusing on what new smartphone sends to Google. Every 15 minutes, Google Pixel 9 Pro XL sends a data packet to Google. The device shares location, email address, phone number, network status, and other telemetry. Even more concerning, the phone periodically attempts to download and run new code, potentially opening up security risks. Aras Nervos, a security researcher at Cybernews. This might be, Cybernews has reached out to Google about these findings. The company explains that transmissions needed for legitimate services on all mobile devices, regardless of the manufacturer. Private information was reportedly sent back in the background. The phone constantly requests new experiments and configurations. Pretty much they say the phone beams data periodically. This is somewhat of a clickbaity title, and I guess that's pretty much how you have to run the internet today, especially places like Squarespace Tutorial, Honest Sark Review, Malware versus Bitdefender. If you've ever been on the YouTube channel, it is actually absolutely fucking annoying looking, because it looks like it's just your corporate media clickbait. And I get people fucking do this, but it's so cringe. Just make good content, I guess, or whatever, good articles, and just hopefully people fly in. I don't know. It's interesting. So Google apparently answered to this, but Graphene OS answered this in a more fundamental way. So to give a synopsis, pretty much they came out and said there's a highly inaccurate article about pixels from Cybernews making the rounds everywhere in the privacy communities. They go over that it makes a claim that it goes through the connections to the Google Play network-based location. Any non-Pixel device with the standard Google Play integration has similar services during the same time. And iOS has a direct equivalence of everything that's covered. I'm skimming because I had to read it a couple times, and then they go into the discussion. They make it pretty easy though. If what people take from this is the article, they should use a non-Pixel Android device with the Google Play. They'll have dramatically less secure device with the same privacy issues and additional ones from OEM services. This is true when you look at Android as a whole. Anybody can essentially get a mobile phone manufacturer, say, hey, we're going to put Android on it, and then they do. And then it's up to, from what I understand, it's up to them when they do like the patches, how long they do the patching for, and how fast they can package it. Graphene OS is like right on top of it. When Google releases the code, the source code for them to do it, they do it. Essentially, this is why it gets updates like quite frequently, and doing that keeps your phone secure. To our knowledge, like, you know, obviously with like a grain of salt, like keeping your apps up to date, keeping your phone up to date, picking good secure hardware is another topic that people glaze over. They're like, oh, I mean, because if you put a secure OS on insecure hardware, it's somewhat irrelevant. It's kind of like putting a lock on your door that's like a really fancy lock, but putting the key under the floor mat. People are going to look. So essentially, they say, like, you shouldn't pick cheap, lazy behind Android manufacturers that aren't going to give you good, proper security updates long term and in general. This is why they picked the Pixel. I mean, I'll link down in the show notes somewhere to put like why they chose Pixel devices. They have a certain set of requirements, and it makes sense. Yes, you're buying from Google, but they don't ship anything with like Google services by default. You can just start Graphene OS without any of that. And it's just to carry on to the article that they wrote in their discussion forum. If people want to do like iPhone, they essentially have the same. Unfortunately, if people take the argument they should get an iPhone instead of a Pixel, I mean, they'll have a device with comparable security, which is true. I mean, Apple's security is relatively good. It's not perfect like everyone thinks it is. Similar privacy, invasive default connections. iOS does not provide better privacy from third-party apps than AOCP or stock Pixel OS at the least that we know of. A lot of their stuff is, you know, hidden in proprietary software anyway, so you got to kind of like guess that they're probably still making money off of ads somewhere, and they probably aren't nearly as private as they say they can. That they are, but, you know, it's whatever. Unfortunately, the article also contributes to typically non-tech people, and a lot of articles are written like this because they want an audience that can read their stuff, and they want technical people that can read their stuff. Like, they're like, okay, they don't understand it, but if they understand it and they see it's bullshit, they're like, whatever, I clicked it, moved on. But it's the non-tech people that is going to share this around. Pretty much said that it's privacy and security is harmed by journalists, misleading that because the most journalists don't do their basic due diligence and simply repeat claims from everywhere else without verification. Many people in the privacy community do the same thing. Tech news is awful is probably the most true statement in this article. Well, this discussion, this post to kind of like combat it. And if it was promoting ISO over Android, it would be, you know, a little bit more genuine from a security standpoint, but not from a privacy maybe standpoint. Graphene OS is a major security upgrade over the stock Pixel OS or iPhone, but it doesn't mean that we're on board with spreading misinformation about those either. They're the most secure smartphone options, and iOS is a clear next best overall for choice for privacy after Graphene OS. iOS has an important privacy feature missing in standard Android. Our storage scope is a feature needed for partners. Needed party for iOS. Yeah, actually, a lot of people don't realize that. Like, if you pick, like, say, let's just think about this from a window, painted glass, whatever view, real quick. If I have an Android, that gives me less control over my phone, and I have less options to mitigate certain aspects of what apps have permissions to, then I'm overall having I have worse privacy and I have worse security. Storage scope, context is a massive W for the Pixel, and the fact that Graphene OS includes this. That means I can make the app think it has complete access when it really doesn't. That's a good thing. So if, say, it is trying to scan for certain files that may have your crypto keys in there, or certain stuff that is on your phone that you don't want access to, it doesn't have it. It thinks it has all the access. It just doesn't. And obviously, I'm not a developer. I'm just some guy on the internet with a mic. But those are like two super big advantages. Contact scopes is better than what they added in iOS 18, but it's similar. iOS has better privacy from apps than Android. Definitely does check out. I think that's due to like revenue, like apps like complaining about revenue. I don't know. It's you have to like trust Apple and like the claims that come from the revenue. They might. The idea that iPhones have better privacy from Apple than Pixel do from Google is largely a misconception. That there's a whole lot of confirmation bias happening. Apple does have better end-to-end encryption support, which most users aren't actually enabling in iCloud. That's probably true. And there are a lot of alternative operating systems and supposedly private secure phone products. Nearly all of them have dramatically worse security than the stock OS or an iPhone. Nearly all have worse privacy apps than iPhone, and they have their own problematic connections. Some of these lower, cheaper phones, they have ads built in, or they call back to, they call back to their home base and collect data and sell it. There's ways you can verify this yourself. In terms of privacy apps, Graphene OS is competitive with iOS in both advantages and disadvantages. In terms of overall pricing, Graphene OS is simply significant upgrade. Security is much cleaner win for Graphene OS, since Pixels are quite competitive without our work anyway. Android has a useful privacy feature unavailable in iOS, such as user profiles, private spaces on Android 15. Better VPN support. Graphene OS adds more advantages. We do address the weaknesses of privacy from apps, but not yet in the point. It's clear upgrade in the area. It's essentially, Graphene OS doesn't use also network location by default. It is possible to opt into Google's network location via Sandbox Google Play if you want, and if you're on a working and we're working on providing more ways to use network location on Graphene OS. The article is interpreting a normal connection, which are opt-in even on stock OS, and somehow bad or malicious. The permission to them, which is not needed. We remove place service location requests from the apps to the OS location service, and plan to add similar routing features for other functionality we can provide ourselves. We're working on making our own Graphene OS network-based location service with client support, multiple services, other stuff. As we know, it's possible to make the Pixel doesn't. Yeah, it's kind of it's pretty much they're saying it's nonsense. None of this is a Pixel 9 specific related article. Like when I read it first, and I'm just rereading it to like get my more thoughts up, is because you get sites like this that are probably bleeding money. Most media is bleeding money. And then you also have the fact that they need these clickbait titles to get people in, and they want to be profitable. A lot of these tech sites, too, are owned by, like, one company or a bigger company, which doesn't always mean that it's an issue because of funding, but it can lead to them, doing some shady stuff. I just think that when you read stuff like this, you should definitely especially when you get cyber news, like, or super tech VPN news. Like, I mean, we already know that a lot of the top VPN providers are owned by, I think, like one company, and then some of them, the websites that write about VPNs, they're like owned by the same company. And I don't know, it's kind of crazy. I think it would be good because if I just skimmed across, if I was just like a normal person, I just skimmed across this, I'd be like, wow, that looks believable. Why did I buy a Pixel? And then you're like, oh, that was not a good idea. No, they're a private company. Oh, they're a private company. Interesting. EU. For profit. Yeah. So you probably have to dig really deep to figure out. Yeah, the thing is, like, you have to, like, I hate these surf the web safely, clean up your browser, remove malicious extensions, check for privacy violations, or stay secure and anonymous online, best VPN out there. Like, it just sucks, man. Going on the internet really does fucking suck because you just get this, you see this shit because it's so SEO'd. And then you're, for whatever reason, because that's what I care about, you're like, oh, I'm gonna read this article, I'm gonna share it without thinking, or I'm gonna bring it up and spread it, and then I'm gonna move on. This comes into the where people should wait until a little bit more information comes out. This came out on October 3rd. I think I waited slightly enough, and the Graphene OS, I think the discussion ended up they responded to this like a couple days ago, and these are like people that work with Android, and I think they understand it. Hopefully, they understand it. They work with this like on a daily basis. They're probably credited, very technically high understanding of how Android works, and good developers. I would hope so, because they're literally maintaining what my phone runs. So I think that if people make that decision to run a Pixel in Graphene OS, that if they see clickbait shit like this at any point, they should just immediately dismiss it. To a certain degree, dismiss it and wait until more information comes out, because for all you know, you could be getting duped, like super duped, to the point where you could be getting duped to the point where you're just you're going to spread this to someone, and then everyone's just going to be picking a highly insecure phone. Like, an absolute fucking dumpster fire. And I'm going to bring this up real quick. This is another dumpster fire. Now, I don't agree with everything that I don't agree with 100% of everything that the Graphene OS community says, because it's my choice. I don't think you should agree with everything. I think there should be some, like, they're like Linux is insecure, and there's more truth coming out to that. There's a lot of like insecure Linux distros, but I don't, I'm smart enough to make my own decision in my own hand. But I personally, after using Linux for a long time and reading and educating myself and learning how it works, etc., I would never just tell someone, hey, use Linux, it's more secure than Windows, because that's just that's retarded. That's a very retarded statement. That's like saying people are like, MacBooks don't get fucking viruses. which is also a pretty fucking retarded statement. Like, of course it does. But back to there's this thing called the U-phone, or the unphone. Yeah, unphone yourself. No. JK, that is God. And I don't think you can call Graphene OS a custom ROM. I think they refute that for a reason. There's a reason they do. Oh man, there's this it's like a fake. They did what do you call it? They did a brain hurting. They did like a interview and it was really bad. I'm gonna look for this for 2 seconds. Okay, we're back. I found it. It's called the Unplugged phone. And woo dog, this is kind of like tying into like why people get preyed on in the privacy and security industry a lot. Just like how people get gotted for like scams. Like grandma gets a call and they're like, please help me, I need 50 gift cards. Long time ago, I heard someone like getting scammed, and I stopped it luckily, and I was like, man, that could have been fucking terrible. Even if they get their money back, it's such an inconvenience, and you never want these fucking losers to win. So that's my general take on it. Fuck those people. I don't care. Everyone's like, oh, it's a victimless crime. No, it's not. Sometimes I don't know. Sometimes people think they can't get their money back, and then they end up killing themselves or whatever. It's fucked. It's fucked. It's such a fucked thing to do. But Unplugged is pretty much an insecure, out-of-date OS. Like some people were like asking about it. That hasn't even shipped with Android 14, while we're only like a couple like months away from Android 15. That's out of date. It is. It's insecure media talk hardware, and the rest is like marketing claims. Essentially, the Unplugged are a recent entry in the crowded space of selling insecure hardware with significant worse privacy and security than the iPhone. And is highly private and secure. The bottom of the barrel MediaTek devices with outdated ASIP is worse than status quo on marketing no substance. They actually argue with each other about it too. And then there was like a response, and they're like, the response was bad. It's like, they also like stole their antivirus is a GPL violation fork of the guy that does Dive OS. I'm not going to pronounce that word. And I have it, but they even downloaded a database from his server. Virus total. They also they have some questionable apps. The list of apps Unplugged, the App Store returned from. It's actually kind of crazy, and I wouldn't have to read any further anything that involves debugging. Yeah, I was on what do you call it, Mastodon, and it was just interesting because stuff like this gets they get like shilled. And I get it. Like, if you want to use stuff like this, I think you should be able to make your own decision, but be informed. And the guy is, like, apparently tied to not good stuff. The guy who started this. Yeah. Looks like an iPhone. It's on questionable hardware. It's called the UP phone, the ultimate privacy-focused smartphone, engineered by top cybersecurity experts. Powered by the executive Liebert OS. It's designed to protect your... I actually met someone who used something similar to this. It's not important, but no GMS or Apple tracking, which I don't... What the fuck? How? That's... Yeah. it's actually insane because there was another phone that was just on shit hardware, and then it used Lineage. And there's a reason the Graphene OS devs talk about Lineage OS and its problems. And again, I'm not a shill or anything, but it's they have some personal reasons why they don't like Lineage. I don't know if they fixed it. And they have some issues with some other stuff. The thing is, unless you actually can go into the source code and you can verify this self, and I think the DiveOS has even said that MicroG still uses, like, saying you're de-Googled. If you're de-Googled and you use any of these, like, custom ROMs, and there's a reason that Graphene OS is not a ROM. It's like it's something. It's like its own. It's like its own thing, and the problem is a lot of this stuff gets shelled in the privacy and security community, just like VPNs. So this is like, you have to, like, listen to another person with a good technical knowledge of this, and they could be like, hey man, this is actually not good. This is really bad. You should not be using this. And you can then, once you're informed, you can make your own decision. It's like the UP phone is a privacy first proprietary. First off, you already lost me at proprietary. Like, fuck you. And secure smartphone designed by cybersecurity professionals for everyday usage. The UP phone runs on the proprietary Liebert OS operating system, which is secured by design and free big tech. How can we verify that? Can't. It's proprietary. They might have just also taken something and just closed source it, like a bunch of losers. And that are typically installed to collect user information for advertising, monetization purposes. I believe the user ad ID, like, you can just remove that. I think you can remove that and you're fine. There's, like, a lot of misconception that you're always being tracked. Of course, there's certain things that you're always going to be tracked about. Like, you're always going to be tracked, but you can just falsify most of that information. And obviously, just disable network, disable location when you can. I know it still sends it probably to, like, I think there's some information that just gets resent out even if you disable it. And then Graphene OS doesn't force you to install any Google services, so you can just avoid it altogether. Or if you need certain stuff for the framework, just use a fake Gmail account that you've never touched before and just use it only for the select apps and never use it anywhere else. Problem solved. What's the user experience like? If you're already an Android user, you should be familiar with our user experience because it's probably just Lineage OS. However, the obvious security and privacy reasons, the UP doesn't have a Google Play service preloaded. Okay. That doesn't mean anything. Neither does Graphene OS. The Play Store is replaced with the unrestricted UP Store. Most Android apps are fully compatible with the UP phone. You'll be using them in a secure, privacy-first environment. If you're an iPhone user, there will be a minimal adjustment within the interface. How can I trust Unplugged? They should just go off the base of one thing. Don't trust us. You can't. And you can't. There's things that you shouldn't inherently trust. Unplug has hired independent auditors and conducted periodic penetration in our platform. If you're a cyber doubts, we invite you to write to us or apply to participate in our White Hat program. You'll get a chance to win a prize. You're able to detect any vulnerabilities in our hardware or software. We also give qualified professionals the option to visit us at our R&D office and perform a white room code review so that you can see for yourself that we have no backdoors. That's great. You don't have to have backdoors. You can just have shit software and shit hardware. It's $1,000, by the way. Secure, private, exceptional experience. Look, I want there to be good competition. I'm not out here showing the pixel. Best in class octa-core CPU, anonymized, encrypt, and shield. Unverified private OS, VPN, messenger, antivirus. So here's the thing. Antivirus, you can just use DiveOS's app, which I can't pronounce. Signal, use fucking Signal. Or SimpleX if you don't want to use the number. Quit thinking that what was that? There was that a Nom phone and then something else. And there was 2 phones. These look like fake reviews. There's these 2 phones that were like created by the FBI essentially. And boom. The UP store, the Up store. Is it UP or Up? Unplugged? The Unplugged store. Say no to censorship. Download any app that you would like to. Yeah, download any app because that can't go wrong. Just get obtained. Here, Play Store with no identity attached to you. Download the apps. Second part, if you don't want to do that, Obtainium. Go straight to GitHub. If you don't want to do that, a Crescent. It's going to get more apps. If you don't want to do that, F-Droid. Learn how to verify that what you're downloading isn't malicious. And restrict network access if you want. All on Graphene OS. And then VPN, you're just transferring the layer of trust from one VPN to another. It doesn't fucking matter. And then you can't verify in that it's not leaking your IP address because they're proprietary. Graphene OS has already fixed some of the issues with the VPN leaking. And they had to figure it out because it was open source. They figured it out through open source. And they figured it out because people were saying, hey, this is leaking. Graphene OS fixed the standard VPN leak. Blocking is near complete. It's almost done. In 2024, one of our users did their own testing VPN leaks on Graphene OS and discovered multiple issues with the standard Android leak blocking. We addressed both in the network DNS level with the third-party VPN apps to go down apps bypassing the VPN via multicast packets. We've been working on it since 2024 of April. And I've discussed with other multiple kinds of leaks. In our latest release, we initially shipped our multicast leak blocking in their release, and they go thoroughly through this. They literally are solving issues, and they acknowledge, hey, there are problems here, and they need to be addressed and fixed. You don't have to be. You can say some things like, hey, this isn't probably secure, and they came out and said it. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. And there's other things that identify you. Like, it's not just your IP address. A VPN is just a transfer of trust and does some decent block. Most of the time I use a VPN is to block ads. That's it. But I think Vadium is getting better at ad blocking. I don't think it has it native, but you can just do a DNS level. You can just block at the DNS level. You can just get a fucking private DNS and just do that, and it'll block ads and move on. Call, share, browse, store. UP phone. Yeah, you can call, you can share, you can browse. No GMS / Apple tracking. I don't know what the fuck that means. Like, no GMS / Apple tracking. Like, I thought GMS was just a telecom. I don't think that's even possible. Google Mobile Service. I was like thinking of something else. No GMS. That makes more sense. You don't have to in Graphene OS. You don't have to do that. And they go into essentially. They go into their own like arguments of why the unplugged phone is bad. And this is why you should be very skeptical why these things are bad. And they essentially kind of argue with each other. Yeah. Pretty much they had there was the Freedom Phone. And many open source projects. Yeah, it's pretty sad, and I think he was the CTO of the Princess company, was an ex in the org that created Pegasus software, but it's and I don't know why people have an interest in like hardware. I don't understand why people think like hardware switches like always solve anything. From what I understand is like as long as your software is secure, I want someone to correct me if I'm wrong. As long as your software is secure, you can just do network toggles. Like you can turn it off. You can like block microphone access, block camera access, block. I turn my Wi-Fi and Bluetooth off after a certain amount of activity that isn't interacted, and I don't see why that wouldn't work. You know what I mean? Like, what would be the purpose of it? And then if your hardware security is compromised, then your network switches and toggles aren't going to fucking matter. I think that has been brought up in argument of these kill switches, that they are irrelevant. And once you're compromised and your device gets all the data, including pictures, kill switches for radios are largely lack purpose. Yeah, it seems like they lack they don't do anything. It's kind of like one of those things that makes people have a false sense of security. And sorry, my brain's trying to like think about stuff. It's so like this is like who's Nitro. I even asked a question about this to like just in general. Is there a reason to disable and get rid of your camera, your Bluetooth module, your Wi-Fi chip, and there everyone's like, yeah, if you have money, but it's not going to do anything. Like you have to, if you disable the microphone and everything. Now, if you're like a threat, like a target, like a huge target, and they're trying to like a nation state actor is trying to like inject malware to infect your like there's insane malware out there that's just next level. Like insane malware, and where it's like we can actually read the light frequencies of we can read the vibrations of your light bulbs and the wavelengths that they operate at, and we can read your conversation from a mile away. It's like, what? Wait, that's real? Wait, this was tested in a lab? And it's like, you're like, fuck, man. So, I think that a lot of people like ask these questions. So is it technically possible for a bad actor to remote intrude into a powered down Graphene OS phone, turn it on, listen through the mic, and get access to GPS location? And people are like, no. Must be present mechanically. As mentioned here several times, pixel exploits are very expensive. They're only used for targeted ways. None have known pixels with the Graphene OS. They're much simpler and cheaper options to actually do this. This is the problem. People get they see these crazy stories of this shit happening, and they're like, well, this is gonna be me. It's like, no, it's not, man. You chill. Look, my theory is if you think that the government is after you, or you're a target of a person of interest and you have information that's really valuable, throw your phone out. Literally. You shouldn't have a phone at that point. Until you're into a country that has no extradition with whatever country you're in. Leave your phone, move on. That is the simplest way. And they don't have like, I think like to a certain degree maybe a Faraday bag would be nice because it just pushes you away from your phone, but you could just objectively just use airplane mode and it does the same thing. You don't have to waste your money. And I guess we're in the era where privacy products are trying to like make a ton of money from like retarded individuals online. I had someone bring me one time a phone that was like kind of made by a creator and it was kind of shit. And I'm like, you could just buy a Pixel like 6a and put Graphene OS and just call it a day. Or Divest. If you're like, I don't want a Google device and I still have supported hardware, you can do Divest OS. He's pretty reasonable. He even says himself like Graphene OS is the better option. But if money is your issue, DivOS might be the better option. I'm here as a user. I've used a lot of different different operating systems on my phone. I've used a lot of different I guess like I want to say ROMs, but Graphene OS is not a custom ROM, they said. And I gotta listen to them. I just think that it's kind of important to break away from the internet for a second and touch grass for a minute. I genuinely believe there are good people out there that want to make good, private, secure mobile operating systems, hardware, etc. But on the turn side, there's a lot of shills that make shit products, like the Freedom Phone that was fucking retarded. And then you have shit like this called the Unplugged. If anything claims to be untraceable, more secure, well, there are things that are more secure, but if anyone makes these claims and they go through replace your cell phone, your VPN, antivirus, and Messenger with a unified personal privacy system, they are selling you snake oil. They are jebaiting you. They're giving you a false sense of security. And I do agree. The thing is, I agree that we have a massive amount of surveillance. But the thing is, people are being misguided, and they're being misguided, and they're being told that this is like their solution. To me, that's crazy. And I believe this has a subscription model, the Unplugged phone, which is crazy. How are you going to buy something and then have a subscription? Or is that... God, I want to see what their VPN... Yeah, I think they're yeah, and the fact that they stole someone else's software and labeled it as their own is fucking crazy. I believe DivOS creator has proof too. And they probably moved on from this and they don't care. They're like, whatever, let these retards fucking live in the market. I just think we need to take a step back and thoroughly look through, do I need this product? What is it trying to solve? What are the claims that they're making? Can I verify it? Is it right for me? If you really like the Apple ecosystem and you want relatively good security, go with the iPhone. Knock your tits off. If you care about free and open source software, you like to support an independent company that is delivering a better Android secure experience, Graphene OS. If you want choice, Calyx OS, Divest OS. You have all these options, but you have to learn to take things at face value and be like, hey, what are they trying to solve? What claims are they making? Can they back them up? How do I verify these claims? Like VPNs. Like, people think that VPNs are a fucking magic bullet, but they're really not. And hardware security is something that a lot of people, again, I'm going to sound like a robot, glaze over. They glaze over hardware security. Hardware secure, like if your shit fucking phone with shit software, shit security on the hardware level is bad, then it doesn't fucking matter what you put on there. It's just stupid. It's stupid to even think that it would. I don't know. This is my perspective in general, that when we make the decision to go out and choose a device that's going to be in our pocket 24/7, then we need to be informed as people. And ill-informed people will come across this marketing shit, and they think that this is like revolutionary. The fly fishing place. Answer Flash Garden Live. Answering on my hubby's account. Just get in. We're unplugged phone. Totally secure, available now. It's what we both use. I don't fucking believe that. Flying Fish Place on X. Love mine. People are asking for a privacy first smartphone. Guess what? It's already here. No, it's not. Well, it is. It's Graphene OS. Review of the unplugged phone by Real Eric D. Prince. Where we are unplugged. All current and upcoming data privacy concerns. Why should you switch? I try to explain that. Listen to Sean Ryan, Tucker Carlson, James O'Keefe interviews with Eric also, if you're on the fence. Yeah, those interviews are fucking scary as shit. That one with Sean Ryan is... I've seen this guy have interviews with people, and they're retarded. I'm not even like a security expert or a privacy expert, but I've watched him get people that put people in front of him, and they just do like the most basic stuff that you could sit down and learn in a day. I don't want to hack your Wi-Fi, or like, oh, I don't want to do this. Look, I can like, I just go watch these interviews. They're bad. And I'm not talking shit about script kiddies, because I think that they're fine. You have to start somewhere, and you have to educate yourself and learn as you grow. But they're really bad. They're like awful. I already have mine. My phone won't allow anything from Google. What? That doesn't even make sense. Amazing product. Thank you for both of your service and also telling the truth. God bless y'all. As we grow as a code for cybersecurity. As we grow as a business, we all need to increase security. Private data information is your business and nobody else's. Go with We Are Unplugged and Break Free. God, I hope they are not coding for anyone important. For real. These look like fake accounts too. But I could be wrong. They could be real. They're amazing, actually. I love them. I want to go see these people if they still have them. Love mine from this lady that definitely looks fucking fake. God, I love this. Terminator 500, that's amazing. Amazing product. Thank you both for your service. No, I want to read all of these, actually. Love the idea. New customer here. Biggest challenge in the conversation is my method to protect the family phones. When lost, I find my iPhone. Besides falling back to Google-based solutions, are there less Google options to support lost? Yeah, there is. What? God. I wonder if they ever fucking answered her. Yeah, it's ours, guys. We have a back door. Somebody can verify that we don't have a back door. The problem with security audits is they can collect metadata. Metadata is already well known that it's like a lot of stuff is actually more discovered through metadata. Metadata is somewhat more important than actually the data itself. You can collect a ton of information from metadata. And remember, it's proprietary, which is lame. I just love FOSS, free and open source software. I don't think it's better. Actually, I do think it's better. It is better. If you don't like free and open source software, fuck you. We're reaching an hour. I'm going to probably Yeah, for another 10 minutes and then get out of here. Yeah, for the love of fuck, man, go out and not only do a little bit of research, but most importantly, make sure when you make these decisions, when you're about to buy a product, what are they trying to sell me? Is it plausible? Do I need this? Should I have it? And look, I don't like Google as much as like the next guy, but you just, privacy aside, you need secure software and hardware. This is why Rust fans are like, we need to get away from C. Unsafe memory language bad. We need to get to a memory safe language. Here, Rust. Rust here. This might solve it. We might do this because this might solve it. Stuff like this is pushing to a more secure future. And not every company out there has the same goal. Some people just shill out hardware, and hardware security is a whole different fucking thing. I mean, I follow some people that do, like, I follow some channels that do like they look into hardware security, and boy, there is shit out there that I know are people using, and it is bad. And it's like, it'll be their router. Like, it'll be a popular router, and it'll just have fucking massively. And a lot of these companies, I will put them at blame, they don't make it easy to update your firmware. People don't even update their BIOS firmware. I highly doubt I can't remember the last time someone sat there probably and told me, they're like, yeah, just update my BIOS firmware. I'm paranoid, so I make sure I'm always updating, like, everything on a consistent basis if I can. Because it'd be retarded not to. It'd be dumb. Stupid. Lame. And you got to remember, you're putting a lot of trust into these. And we have another problem on the other side. The people that are over paranoid, that think that they have NSA level, NSA level, like, spyware in their phone, or like, oh, you're being tracked by the government and all these other people, and blah blah blah. And it's like, they're not. Now, if you do something illegal, and they find out, oh, it's this IP address attached to this account, and it's owned by this company, of course they're going to go up to the fucking company and be like, give us your records. And of course the company is like, well, we were told when we established this business that we had to keep records for 7 years, and this happened a week ago, so I have to give it over. No fucking shit. That's like not an insane take. That's actually like the most normative take. A lot of companies need to keep this information, whether you like it or not, for whatever reason they have. And then they're like, well, here's the IP address for this person that committed this awful crime. Have a nice day. And we're going to continue to do business like we have been. Not shocked. Don't commit crime with your phone on you. Don't commit crime in general, but like, don't commit crime with things that can track you back to the crime that you committed. It's not a crazy thing. No matter what super secure mega VPN that you have on, there's a lot of metadata that, like, a lot of people that got caught doing stuff had terrible OPSEC. They had bad OPSEC. They used the same fucking email. Who is the guy that didn't the Silk Road? Yeah, the Silk Road. He got caught because of Gmail. I think he was bragging about it, and he used a Gmail or somebody used the same Gmail, and they were bragging that they owned this thing, and ended up like, that's what, like, getting him caught. Because he was like he used, or was that another market? There was like one of those darknet markets where they like had really bad. They used like the same email with the first and last name, personal email, and they made an oopsie daisy. But that's the thing, man. Like, you can't sit there and expect to be bulletproof when you make bad OPSEC mistakes and then blame the company for not wanting to bank. Like, all right, yeah, we're going to shut down for this person, whether you like it or not. It's just the reality of it. Like LavaBit, I think he shut down. Yeah, he shut down his entire company because he probably didn't want to get arrested, and B, he didn't want to give over that information. It's that simple. It's not really a crazy idea. First, yeah, don't commit crime, and then ultimately, like, educate yourself how networks work. Educate yourself how Google works, Android works. It's all open source. It's in their document. It's right there. You can read it. Some stuff, like, you don't have to be super, like, technically, like, literate. And I think if more people went back to, like, reading stuff and, like, understanding it and critical thinking and understanding, like, Android as a whole, or, like, how computers work and how they just talk to each other, etc., etc., it's when you do these things, you can be a little bit more informed, and then you see fucking stupid clickbait titles from Cyber News, and you're like, oh. And I'm not expecting everyone to go do that, but I think it would definitely help to educate yourself a little bit, so when you read stuff like this, you're like, that doesn't sound right. Let me go look into it. And that's kind of lame. That's probably fake. You're telling me your Iron Mountain super scary fucking lockdown 100 layer VPN didn't protect me and they sold me off to the feds? Wow. I don't know. We live in a wild age of computers. And don't get me wrong, I used to have bad passwords. I used to run dirt cheap fucking, $100 phones, and it's like, but like the thing is, like, not everyone can go out and afford these things, and I get it. It's like, buy what you need, buy what you can, afford what you can. But if you think that it's a relatively not up-to-date, secure phone, the best thing you can do, limit permissions, limit app usage, limit like the overall, like, sensors. Try to update. If they're giving patches, just fucking do it until you can get a more secure platform, more secure phone, better software. That's it. Limit app usage, update as much as possible on if you need that, and strip out anything you don't need and limit as much permissions as possible. Hopefully avoid it altogether, but you gotta do what you gotta do, man. Don't ball on a budget. Pixel A is cheap. iPhone SE is cheap. You can get some secondhand ones with, like, very good security updates, like end of life, that are getting, like, good, like, security updates for the value of your money, because that's just people deserve secure operating systems, and privacy is, in my opinion, a right. But I don't know. This went on for a lot longer than I thought it would, and this was kind of out of nowhere. And it was just like my thoughts. The Internet Archive got hacked too, I think. Yeah, that was fucking crazy. I'll come back. I'll touch back on that like a week when we find out more. It's kind of balls, in my opinion. Internet's crazy. But until next time, I will see y'all later.